Okay, we're getting word that we're ready to go for City Council meeting here in Spanish Fork City today, October 7th, 2025, here in our beautiful council chambers and library building. Thank you, everyone, for being here, especially the ALA folks that we're going to call up here in a bit. We appreciate everybody tuning in around the world and here in person today for our council meeting. We always start our meetings off with a prayer or motivational message, and then the Pledge of Allegiance. And Councilwoman Beck has found our motivational thought and prayer today, and Councilman Marshall will lead us in the pledge after that. Councilwoman Beck.
So our thought will come in the form of a song, and we were all at a groundbreaking ceremony early September, and the ALA Encore group sang, and we were so impressed. We thought when we have an opportunity to have them come and share their talents at City Council, we would invite them to do so. So we will have you come up and do your song and then offer the opening prayer. So just come on right up front. And I told them, should we have them face that way? Whatever. Let's have, face out to Kathleen. Sing to Kathleen.
She's your audience.
Thanks, guys.
Very good.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the valley were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there, still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And I believe it's Todd. Let you offer the prayer. Yes, right there in that mic. Yep.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're very thankful for this day. We're thankful that we can be at this City Council meeting, and please help us that we can have the Spirit with us and make the right choices. And we say these things in Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Thanks, Todd.
So Mayor, I make a motion to have ALA here every council meeting and open with that. You guys, it's the first and third Tuesday at 6 p.m. every month. Just put that on your calendars.
That's awesome.
After we recite the pledge, could you guys stick around for a minute? And Jack wants to get a picture of you guys up here in front of us so we can get that in the minutes. Is that okay? Okay.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Great job. Y'all please rise and join with me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead and come up here.
You can start with the chief and shake his hand and come around and shake everybody's hand there. We like to start with the chief in case you ever get pulled over. You should never go fast in town, but if you get pulled over, you can say, well, I've shaken hands with the chief.
Shaking hands. It doesn't do you any good, trust me.
Shake the hand of Sinatra.
Yeah.
Good job. Thank you. That was amazing, guys. Seriously. Goosebumps.
so much. It was awesome. Good job. Thank you. Great job.
Well done. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done.
So don't leave. Stay up here. Stay up here.
Good job.
Thanks for being here.
Awesome.
It's good to have you. Thanks so
And then try to just center yourselves in front of the council.
Short people on the outsides, tall people in the middle. They're not listening to me anyways.
Tall people in the middle, short people on the.
See, they did listen.
Yeah, and you'll have to really kind of bunch.
Hey, you're on the side of me though. There we go.
Let's get just like
are
a
these
little bit
people?
tighter together.
There you go. Singers.
Okay. Perfect. Good job. Thank you.
One more. He's got one more. He's got one more. Thank you.
Dale, when do we do rodeo tryouts for the national anthem?
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. You guys would be great.
March?
Yeah, you guys need to submit an application.
They just did it right here.
Put it,
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Stamped. The tryout was here. We got it.
Stamped and approved.
put it on the calendar. The largest PRCA rodeo in the state. It would be awesome to have a song like that to 8,400 screaming fans. Well, they're quiet when that's going on, but it's a good place to do
So I'm
it.
seeing some big eyes there. Is that like big eyes of excitement or big eyes of like no?
Excitement.
We kind of talked about it. They've talked about it like a couple of years, like that they've wanted to do it, but we just didn't really know where to apply or what to do things. So we would love to.
Yeah, you'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Yep, count on it.
Thank you.
Dale's hoping he's not having to bump somebody there. That
No, we would bump whoever that was.
okay.
We'll just add another night to the
Probably
rodeo.
just Jared. It's okay. Jared
Okay.
and Kim, they signed up for a duet.
Follow up to previous council comments is on the agenda. We'll switch this up a little bit.
Yeah,
Seth,
Mayor,
you're trying
we-
to throw me a curveball in here.
We didn't have any. I was looking back at some previous meetings and I don't have any, so we're good.
So not a big curveball.
Swing and a miss.
Okay. Okay. Public comments section of the agenda. Anybody from the public that would like to address the mayor and council? It doesn't have to be on the agenda or anything. Any questions or comments that people would like to make to the mayor and council, please come up and do so at this time. Okay, seeing none, we'll move to council comments. I'm not sure what end I started on last time. Looks like you guys don't remember either. So I'll start with Councilman
Yes,
Took down here. Is that all right,
You
Councilman?
betcha. Thank you, Mayor. A couple items tonight, but I would like to first start off by welcoming our president of the Chamber of Commerce, Kathleen Levitt.
Thank you so much. I sent a few graphics to Jack, if he could kindly pull those up. Let's start with Meet the Candidates. That's tomorrow. So just a reminder for everyone watching at home and here, we are having our Meet the Candidates panel tomorrow evening here in the Heritage Room at the Spanish Fork Library. It's from 6 to 7:30 is the debate portion, and then 7:30 to 8 p.m. is your opportunity to meet the council candidates and mayoral candidates and have individual conversations with them if you would like to. Doug Welton wanted me to let the candidates know he is going a little bit off script. We did submit several of the questions that residents had submitted to me to the council to prepare, but Doug Welton would also like to throw a few curveballs. So just a fair warning for you all that
Swinging.
it is going to be recorded by SFCN 17, but it's not going to be televised live. So just a reminder for everybody, if they want to get in on the action, to come in person and join us all tomorrow evening. Next up, Trick or Treat on Main Street. I received word that some notices went out that it's on the 31st. It is not on the 31st. It is on the 25th, the Saturday before Halloween, from 1 to 3 p.m. on Main Street from 1st to 4th North. And we'll have lots of activities going on for the kids, plenty of candy and treats. It is a public free event, so please encourage everyone to come down and participate. The Chamber is working on a trailer of pumpkins. So the first kids that come down will receive a free pumpkin. So we're excited to change things up a little bit this year and have a lot of fun. So October 25th from 1 to 3 p.m. is Trick or Treat on Main. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Well, thank you, Kathleen, and thanks to the Chamber for all you're doing. Just a couple more things from me this evening. About a week and a half ago, some of us, and I'm sure some of you also attended the Wings and Wheels event at the airport. Absolutely spectacular. I took my family. We spent hours there and just loved everything from the planes, the automobiles, and beyond. It's amazing how that event has grown, and just what it's becoming is exciting, and just it feels special to be a part of it. So yet another amazing ad in Spanish Fork that just continues to impress. So thank you to Christian and all those who, Emily Parks and Rec, who helped make it the event that it was. So, and all the volunteers. And then also, we had yesterday evening the Parks and Recreation Board meeting, and as part of that, we were able to tour the rec center, the Fit City Center. Thank you to Dell for that, and in general, just thank you, Dell, and to your teams that are making that happen. And it blew my mind last night. It's been fun to watch the different stages and the progression, but and I don't have pictures, but that's okay. Soon enough, there'll be pictures. But I'm excited. I'm beyond excited for everybody to experience this new crowning jewel in our city. So, thank you, Dell, and Mayor. That's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Took. Councilman Cardin.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I wanted to just echo what Councilman Took just talked about with the Wings and Wheels. Thank you to all of the departments that made that happen. Parks and Rec play a heavy role in that, making the event logistics work. Public Works making sure that the airport is ready, and there's lots of garbage cans, lots of different things that have to go there. Our police, our fire and EMS, like there's just a lot of people that go into that. And then on top of that, the thousands and thousands of people that are there, but then our volunteers that make it happen. It's what makes Spanish Fork work, is that volunteer side of things. And I have to always give that shout out to the YCC, who is at literally everything volunteering. So thank you to that group. And that's all I got, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Cardin. Councilman Euler.
Thank you, Mayor. We had the opportunity last week to spend a couple of days up in Salt Lake at the Utah League of Cities and Towns. We attended some great courses, one of which was given by our own Jack Urquhart here in Spanish Fork, our city's PIO. Jack did a fantastic job along with Mayor Michelle Kafusi and an individual from Park City, I don't remember his name, but talking about and teaching the other cities about how Spanish Fork does Spanish Fork University and how we do it well. It's a great program that's done here in our city, and appreciate Jack and all of the work he does with that program, and for putting on a great presentation and representing the city really well. So thank you, Jack. That's all I've got, Mayor.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Euler. Councilwoman Beck.
I'll just echo what everyone else said, and you can skip over me. Thanks, guys. Good job.
Councilman Marshall.
Wrap this up.
Yep.
Awesome. Wings and Wheels was a fantastic event. Emily did a great job. Emily, I hope you're watching. Great job again. Christian, also incredible job. The logistics this time was just, they were spot on. I think I heard we had 3,000 more people this year than last year, and it didn't feel like it. It felt very comfortable. Great job. The Army depot that was out there was pretty dang cool. It was, again, a great event, and thank you for putting that all together. And you're right, it took the entire city to pull it off, so great work. I met with the Veterans Council last week. Normal stuff for the most part. They're going to they want to start working on a path to funding a rehabilitation at the Veterans Memorial at the cemetery. Looking at about $30,000 in need. They have some money that can go towards it, but they're going to need some help from the city. And it seems like a good cause. I don't know if that's a RAP eligible activity, but I think over the course of the next few months, let's look for some ways to get that funded. That's a pretty special thing up there, and $30,000 can go a long way in making that look like brand new. So told them I'd help them find that path forward there. The Utah League of Cities and Towns was a good conference. Every time I go, I think I know something, and it turns out that I learn something every single time. And so thanks for the invite. Thanks for staff for being there. I think it's important for our staff to be there, interacting with other staff across the state. It's a good opportunity to interact with your colleagues and learn something, and try not to, duplicate efforts. I think Jack's presentation was, I'm pretty biased, but you were the best one of the three by far. Way more practical than the other two, and it was good. It was Spanish Fork 101. Thank you, Nick. There's a little bit of credit there, just a little, but it's a good program, and it was the envy of that room. I think that people were like, "Hey, how do I do that?" And so, great job, Jack. Really well done. That's my 2 cents today.
Thank you. Councilman Marshall had one guy in that room that said, "Hey, I live pretty close to Spanish Fork. Can I get in on SF 101?" And then we said, "Yeah, how close?" And he said, "Like Mill Creek or something." Like, not close enough. You ain't getting in. So it's for Spanish Fork residents. No, thank you, council members, for all your committees and all the work that you put in over the last few weeks and in where you've needed to be. I'll just echo the Wings and Wills event. If you haven't been to Spanish Fork for a while, you'll know that wasn't always an event. And as I was there at the airport, looking at thousands and thousands of people that recognize some of them, and a lot of people I didn't recognize that came from out of town and watched some pretty cool stuff happen for some hours on a Saturday. It made me think that event and like the pyro musical event is a place where you just see a sea of people that are coming to your city. And a lot of them are residents that know about it and enjoy it, but a lot aren't either. And what it took me back to is that's what a community is about, local government is about. Both of those events, if you didn't know, weren't started by the city per se, right? You had some people with some fast cars and fast airplanes that said, "Hey, we can do some pretty cool stuff." And then it grew, and the city gets involved and makes it safe and puts a date to it and advertises it. And the same thing has happened with the pyro musical, where people are coming from all over the place because of an idea of a resident, and it just grew bigger and bigger. And so you've got a city that, I guess my pitch out there is if you have a good idea, your government is close enough to you, and your city is close enough to you to pitch an idea and see if it works and see if it can make some cool events. Because I'll bet 5 years from now we'll be talking about a cool event that hasn't happened yet here in Spanish Fork either, and it's because the volunteerism and then professional leadership and staff that puts it together and actually pulls it off and keeps everyone safe too. So thanks for everybody's involvement in Wings and Wills. That was a very cool event once again.
Mayor, to kind of build on that point, what's really cool is there's Wings and Wills or pyro or the children's thing in the park or whatever. There's like a variety of things that bring the community together in different parts of our community. There's something for everyone out there. Whether it's trick-or-treating on Main Street, it's bringing our community members together to socialize, to get out of the house or whatever it might be. But everyone has that opportunity, and it's not just one thing. It's not just the ballpark like it felt like when I was growing up, but it's arts and Wings and Wills and such a variety of things that I think that's the secret sauce in Spanish Fork, is providing those opportunities all year long. So it's a great place to grow up.
Yep. Good stuff. Good events happening over the last couple of weeks. Appreciate everyone's involvement and the help. It is not lost that the U City Council is at a lot of this stuff helping out too. So good kids, good leaders. So thank you guys. Manager Perrins,
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I'll add just a couple of thoughts and then touch on one thing, and then we'll have Corey touch on one thing. Likewise, I thought Jack's presentation on Spanish Fork University was extremely relatable, right? That any city could do this. Other parts of that discussion, I think, were like so lofty and extremely difficult to maybe put together, but Jack was so practical and relatable. You did a really good job. It's funny, Councilman Marshall, when I came here a number of years ago from a different city, the number of events that we had at that time compared to the other city was different, but yet, 3 or 4 times the number of that other city. And I remember back at that time thinking, oh, man, we spend a lot of money on this. I don't know if that's the right way to go. A couple years into it, I was completely converted, and still today, like, this is the way we keep a community together. I love that. And we spend a decent amount of resources, but at the same time, I think the good that comes back, the participation that comes from it, and the community spirit that's created is worth the effort, worth the expense. Generally speaking, these events, through how we organize them, pay for themselves, which is super cool. But at the same time, I don't know that there is a good calculus for what I think the return on the community investment that we get. And we are unique in this space, and I think we are, we're the better unicorn, right, in our uniqueness. So I love that. Kudos to all of those involved, which is not just Parks and Rec, although it's heavy in there, but I think all of our departments touch these events in some way as we pull them off, and I love that. The volunteers are amazing, and the direction that we get from you is amazing. 2 things that we want to touch on. I'll touch on the first one, and then Corey will touch on the other one. The first thing, I want to just a brief report to you. We've been studying a power rate. We've talked about this in some of our meetings, but we've been studying the power rate for our industrial area, and we're not ready to present anything. We're still deep in the research side of things, but just wanted to let you know we've had some meetings with Dave Berg, that consultant from UMPA. I think he's out of Minnesota. He has the great Minnesota accent that we'll hear from time to time at UMPA conferences. He's helping us with that study. That guy is so smart, and when he talks about things, he just launches off. It's like some engineer talking about bridges or something, or roads. I don't know, but he's so smart, and we've had some great discussions, some pushback, back and forth, and we're not there yet in terms of any kind of recommendation. But I just wanted you to know that we are studying that as staff. And hopefully we'll have some clarity come from these discussions soon, that we can then begin working with you in some future work sessions about what a power rate could look like in our industrial part of town for those users that we have there, to help support some of the power infrastructure that needs to be in that industrial part of town. So just a heads up that we've talked about it, and I don't think you've heard a whole lot about this, so I wanted to give you that update. Last week, September 30th, was an amazingly important day in the history of our city. Probably akin to like November 5th, 1955, which is the day time travel was invented. September 30th, 2025 is a day just as important. Corey, help us understand why September 30 should be some kind of city holiday.
Thank you, Seth. Jack, if you could pull up. I'm a little nervous what Jack does with presentations when I share them.
And Judy's sitting in the back. She's like, I'd never come to this, but I can't believe I'm here on this day.
So
it's a good day.
On September 30th, I received a text from Zach with a video. I didn't attach the video, but the last flows going to the old treatment plant, which have been in service for parts of it long before I was born. That's how far back the old treatment plant goes. So that was a pretty exciting text, having worked on that for many, many years. I threw in a few pictures over the last few years, Jack, if you just want to click through a few of them. We started with just ground improvements and big hole in the ground and a lot of rebar. That transitioned to above ground construction. And then we added equipment. And so we've been starting up the plant, turning in what's on the left into what you see on the right. treating the sewage, sorry, graphic pictures I know, into something that looks like this. This is what currently the water looks like exiting the treatment plant. Very clear, very clean, and pretty exciting. The results, this is just a comparison data. We've been looking at ammonia. It's a good indicator of how well the treatment's going on in the plant. The top left you see there is the old treatment plant somewhere in mid-June through August. And the ammonia, the average was up around 18, much, much higher than we would want and higher than the state would want us to be. And you can see on the bottom right, we were very low, and then part of the startup, that ammonia spiked, and then over about the period of a week and a half, our numbers are pretty close to zero, or 0.5. So it is operating very, very well. We're really excited and trying to figure out, learn how to run the rocket ship that we have over there. Got a great team in our contractor and some consultants that are helping us get there and fine-tuning the process. And anyway, we're really excited.
Got a question while you're on this chart. So obviously the ammonia is there. We're just not discharging it out of the whatever's left when it leaves the plant. Where is the ammonia? What happens with it?
The microbiology breaks it down and uses it as an energy source, and ultimately you have nitrogen gas coming out or others that gets in the biosolids that we haul off to the landfill. So it's really a biologic process converting the ammonia through nitrification to nitrogen gas is really the end product. So,
Did you plant that question?
No.
The way you lit up when you're talking biology like that?
Wow. Yeah, I know.
And that you
I know
could
we're not
answer
talking
it.
highways, Shane. but This is pretty
You
exciting.
lost me. You lost me at biology. So I apologize.
We can talk traffic signals
Okay, let's
too.
do.
Corey, is it safe to say that the sewage smell going on and off I-15 right there is gone now for good? Are we-
Not yet, but yes. Seth and I walked through the plant, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And we walked into the headworks, which is the rough area. And
That's where all the good stuff is.
all the
coming
good
in.
stuff. And we both walked in and went, is it running right now? Because I was nose blind for many years. I'm starting to come back to normal, I think, but much, much better. The process of pumping out the old plant and some things is still going on, as well as hauling off some solids that were generated there. So we're close, I guess is the way I'd put
Here,
it.
that's a good update.
It's
Whose
gonna
job is it to
improve.
clean the old plant?
Our crews are down there now pumping
Bill
out
Murray.
things. So
Corey, a question asked quietly by some is where should ammonia be? I'm looking at this graph and seeing that it was at 18. Right now, we're regularly discharging somewhere below 0.5.
yes.
That's on the order of factors, that's a pretty significant decrease. Where does the state want us today to be with our ammonia discharge?
So traditionally, our limit has been 18, which is high compared to most other plants. Recently, with permit update, for most of the year, we have to be below a 7. In the spring, they allow us to go up to a 9. The old plant clearly isn't capable of that, wasn't even close. The new plant will be many, many times below that. So a lot of safety there as far as risk of violating our permit.
Corey referred to it as a rocket ship, and that's something that I think we've lovingly called this. And the reason we refer to it is it's a lot more complex, probably is the simplest explanation. But it has put us into a place where we can deal with new regulation. That old plant, we weren't able to deal with the regulations that we had, let alone the regulations that we're hearing are coming, and then beyond those, what we think might come. And this gives us the ability to deal with that, where we've got room to grow, and we have room to breathe in the regulations. And so this is so cool. So September 30, 2025, probably you could get Doc Brown to plug that into his machine, and he'll want to go there someday.
Thank you. Hey, one side note while I've got my microphone on. Back to Wings and Wheels. Christian texted me Friday night and says, I just met a couple that came from Switzerland just for our air show.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know their connection or why, or maybe a certain plane or
Maybe I should-
something that came in, but Switzerland, that's a hard one to beat. So
You thought your 10-minute drive was hard.
Well,
I almost drove myself.
you know, the combination of it's tough because you don't build an airport to park that many vehicles for that many visitors, right? And so up and down roads and everything, and so I appreciate everybody's patience on that day too. It was tough to get up and down some roads, and then local businesses around the airport that just said, "Yep, park in our parking lots." Those were full too.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I didn't think people from Switzerland were going to make it, but I'm glad they did. Everybody from around Utah for sure did.
Yeah.
So to add to that, Mayor, I don't know what was different about this year to prior years, but I spoke with multiple Spanish Fork residents that were at this show this year that this is the first year they've ever gone, and they were asking themselves, why have we not been here before? They loved it.
Cool stuff. Very good stuff. And the sewer plant's cool too. Thank you, Corey. That's a big deal.
I detoured myself. So I can only blame
walked
myself
into
for
it.
that.
But that graph is a lot of success right there. Just a huge drop when you start treating that stuff. So good job. Okay, Spanish Fork 101 is what I have next.
Yep, nothing tonight.
But we
Mayor.
have nothing on the 101. We got Nick in the audience. Would he like a 101? Spontaneous 101?
Yeah, we'll have Nick part of our discussion on fee schedule.
Fair enough. Nobody up here wants to take a 101 shot?
Corey, would you talk a little bit more about
we're
the
gonna go
sewer
to
treatment plant?
Consent items, number 8, consent items. There
Mayor,
are items A through F. If anybody has questions about those.
Mayor, we need to pull F.
Okay.
We need to pull F off and move that down to new business, if you would, please.
So item F, Spanish Fork Parkway Interlocal Agreement Addendum number 2. We're going to move down to new business. I would entertain a motion for items A through E if there's no questions.
I move to approve the consent items. We just
Minus
need a
E,
second.
minus F.
Minus F, yes.
Okay.
Second.
There's the motion
I thought he
by Councilwoman Beck, seconded by Councilman Euler. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
The consent items are approved. Takes us to public hearing section of our agenda. There's 2. First, the fiscal year 2026 employee compensation. Item A.
Kim looks like she's ready, doesn't she?
Kim came to our meeting tonight. Thank you, Kim.
I was back there looking for the little chair that I get to stand on so that I
yeah.
can see over. Like,
Is there not one there?
no,
Get a Kim chair.
can't see. As you guys are aware, last year there was some legislation that was passed that requires us to separate out some of our range positions, specifically our elected officials and our executive municipal employees. So I'm going to handle that section, and then Jordan will handle the budget side of things. Do I have the clicker, Jack, or do you have that one? Okay. So I'm going to kind of go through the ranges, as you guys, we've talked in our work session about the salaries, but I'll just kind of go over that and then kind of go over the ranges that and how they've moved. So this is the first part of our ranges. We go from 3 to 11 on this screen. Just a few things that I want to point out and a few things that I want to discuss is how our ranges work. We're just going to concentrate on pay grade 4 just to kind of highlight and kind of discuss what we do in the city. In that pay range 4, there are quite a few different positions that make up that range. And so all of our ranges are that way. We have ranges that are positions that we will evaluate market, we'll evaluate responsibility, we'll look internally and say which positions function similarly with the same type of responsibility, and we place those in a range. And so that's how you're getting these ranges built up, and we have 19 of those. And so just so you know, I'm not going to go over all of the positions. All of those positions and their ranges are found in the budget document, that if you want to see those are found there. You can see on here that I've got a midpoint. Most cities have a midpoint, and we refer to that as 100% of midpoint. Spanish Fork City, we do 20 below the 100% and 20 above. So our range is 80% up to 120%. And employees are placed in those ranges based on merit. And that is something that I love that Spanish Fork does, is that we do a merit. And if we have great employees that are performing really well, they're going to move up in those ranges a lot quicker than those that maybe just want to come and get a paycheck. We want to give the incentive to our employees to work hard and to try and move up in that range. So most employees will start probably between the 80 and 90%, just because they haven't learned their job. They are still learning the responsibilities. At 100%, so that midpoint, those positions, those employees should be doing their job effectively, efficiently, with minimal supervision. And then anything from 100% to 120 is those employees are adding value to that position, and they're gaining knowledge within that position. So how do we get our range increases every year? I do a salary study every year. I look into 16 other cities. I compare our positions to their positions to make sure that we're being fair to our employees, that we're compensating them with what other cities are paying. So you've got all of your positions in a pay range. There is a % increase that is shown for that position. You can see that there's a % change versus the prior period. That is how much that midpoint is increasing. So you can see on that pay grade 4, last year they were paid around $51,000. They're getting a 5.5% increase this year, so they're getting 54% this year. Any questions on how we do our salary study, how we place positions? Okay. So the next pay range, this is our municipal, our executives. These are our city managers, assistant city managers, assistants. The pay range is everything. The placement is all similar to all of the other employees, just separated it out for that new legislation. I want to highlight that average, that 3.65. Why that is important is we take all of 19 ranges and we average that increase, and that is the amount that we apply to increases for our part-time employees. We want to make sure that we're compensating our part-time as well. It's just as important to help the city run and to function as well as we do with a good seasonal employees, part-time employees. So this is their salary range. Again, we've got multiple positions within these ranges, but that midpoint was increased by that 3.65. And then the last thing that I'm going to go over is our Jack. Ask you to pull up a map after this. So we're going to go over the mayor and city council. We are seeing an increase. We're going to give a bump to our mayor and city council from FY25 to FY26. I do want to point out that the last time that our mayor and council received an increase was in January of 2022. Your wages, the employees' wages, they take effect in October. Mayor and councils, they don't take effect until January. And so it's been 4 years since we had seen an increase with the mayor and council wages. Do you have any questions for me or any?
Do you know the percentage on that?
There's a 10%, about a 10% increase on that. And again, that would, if you look at it over 4 years, that's about 2.5% increase.
Questions for Kim? Is that it, Kim?
Yep, that's it.
Kim, thanks for your work on that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have you and we don't have to do all those studies, because that's a lot of work.
It's sometimes fun.
Well, and it helps me.
Sometimes fun.
Sometimes fun.
It helps me, I'm sure the rest of us feel really confident giving the employees the raise, knowing that we're competitive with everyone else out there in a government entity as well.
I'd like to take credit for it, but it's Seth and Tyler ones that started it. I'm just implementing it going forward. But
good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, you're known for doing a good job, not just in our city, but surrounding areas too, because they're always asking us, hey, what's Spanish Fork doing? Not just to know how to be competitive, but they're asking because they know you put in the time, you do the data, and you do the work. So that's appreciated.
Well, I appreciate the council and the mayor to supporting the employees. It makes my job easier. So thank you.
Thank you. So no action on item A, just a public hearing needed to happen there by legislation. So there is, I would entertain a motion to go into public hearing to hear from the public about item A.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon.
Second.
Second by Councilman Took. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're in public hearing for item A. Anybody from the public that would like to speak to the 2026 employee compensation? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Marshall.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cardon. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Discussion back up here. Any other further discussion on item A? Okay. Rolls into item B, the ordinance approving the fiscal year 2026 budget revision. Mr. Jordan Hales will talk to us about this before going into public hearing.
The changes to this are fairly minor. We're only 3 months into the fiscal year, so you might ask, why do we even need a revision? Carryover project. So carryover project is something where we budgeted for the project last year. We didn't complete it. The funds were not used. They fell to reserves. Now in order for us to spend those funds, we have to rebudget them, even though we budgeted them last year. So that's what a carryover project is. Fee schedule changes, we will get into that. And then salary adjustments, Kim touched on that. We do not have any revision changes to the redevelopment agency or the local building authority budgets. Yeah. All right, let's get into the fee schedule. We've got a few fees here increasing on the community development side. This is mostly just cost of service updates. I know that we are incorporating a little bit of environmental study work into some of these fees, and that's built into these as well. Anything to add there, Dave? Okay. All right. Parks and Recreation, these are, again, standard cost of service increases to youth football, soccer, youth softball. Any questions on these? Okay. All right. More volleyball increases and basketball as well. Again, just these standard smaller adjustments. And then golf. The golf course is doing really well. Carts is going up $1 per 9 holes from 10 to 11. The driving range increasing the large. The small, medium are staying at 7 and 10, but the large bucket of balls is going from 12 to 14. And then the cart punch pass is going up $1 per 9 holes, similar to the normal cart fee. If you get a punch pass, you save $1. So if you're up there doing it a lot, make sure you get a pass. City events, youth theater participation, you can see that we've got a fee for the monthly participation as well as a materials fee. And then the Speedy Spaniard optional t-shirt is going from $8 to $11. And the Big Slam softball tournament is going up $25. Again, a cost of service adjustment there. All right.
Jordan, can you go back a page, please?
I can indeed.
So right now, is it just a flat fee for the youth theater participation, and we're changing it to a monthly fee and a flat fee?
I was asking some questions to Bronco and Emily, and I was not quite sure. I wasn't able to get a clear answer. I don't know if Dell knows on that one.
Yeah, we're just raising the monthly fee. So I think the current one was supposed to be monthly as well, but the materials fee, I just think we've failed to list it on here before. There's a materials fee for the whole class.
Okay, so we're not
a
adding
one-time
a
fee.
new category.
No, it's a one-time fee, and we just raised the monthly fee.
Okay,
$5.
Okay. I'm going to have Mr. Nick Porter, our Fit City Center manager, come up and talk about the Fit City fees.
I feel a little singled out today. Jordan didn't want to do these ones. I don't know. But maybe because they're all new. So I'll just want to walk through quickly think most of these we've talked about, but again, if you have any questions, we'll go through them. These first two, for swim meet labor and the Colorado timing system, these are things that we will bill the schools or any other organization that has a swim meet in our facility. These are competitive with rec centers around the school district and county with what they charge. So I just want to get those in here. And then we put off putting the outdoor pool and pavilion in the original budget, so we want to get those in the revision. This comes with these fees have that number of guests so that organizations can plan for and not have that big variable swing when they have a lot or a big turnout. So that was the idea behind this $600 fee for the outdoor pool and pavilion rental. And then we had a child watch fee just to drop in. We've now created kind of a subscription that gives you a little bit of a discount when you have more than one child that's going to be using the service. So those are listed here, as well as the late fee. And the reason that's important is if we have kids that aren't picked up on time, staff does have to stay. But the bigger issue is if we fall outside or if we fall into someone using it for more than 2 hours, then we're outside of our state license, which only allows 2 hours where the parent is 5 minutes away or less. And that's how we're able to get it with that license and not have to do daycare, which is a whole another set of rules to play by.
Hey, Nick, with the child watch fees, how long could a child be with you all during the day? Like what time frame?
So we have kind of a morning and an evening. They can be with us for 2 hours in each of those slots. So you really can have 4 hours in a day, but there has to be the break in between. So 2 hours, because we're not going to feed them. We're not going to. There's a bathroom. If they're potty trained, they can go in there and use it. We're not going to do any of that for them. So that's why the 2 hour limit, in addition to the state license regulations, that's why that's important.
So two children, $40 a month, unlimited.
Correct.
They could do that every single day.
Every day. Yep. Or we have the drop-in rate. If you're not sure, you can, and we have availability, you can show up and drop in for $3 per child per hour.
That's the drop-in rate, $3.
The drop-in, yes, sir.
And is there did you say there was an age limit on the child?
6 months to 8 years.
And were there other fees proposed earlier that I just don't remember, like if it's just one kid and you just...
Yeah, so the one that's approved was just the $3 per child per hour.
Okay.
And then we created this subscription as well to really help those out who are going to use it the most. Okay, the other one, we added a fee to replace your membership card. We'll give you one, and then if you need another one, we'll give that to you too. Just cover the cost of that. The newest thing here is our corporate membership tiers. We talked a lot many months ago about various things we could do and things we wanted to try and look at. And as we've talked with businesses and looked at the best options for both the administration of the program and administration for other businesses, we'd like to propose this kind of membership with 2 tiers. That's very similar to Orem City and to the other local rec centers in the county, where it's volume based. We want a group of people to get together and say we want to go to the Fit City Center, and based on the number of people from that organization that are going to buy a membership, they'll get a discount. So there's not a buy-in from the organization, other than at least 5 individuals have gotten together and said we're going to go get a membership, and then we would give them the discount. We will look at this on kind of spot check once a year, timing of that to be determined, and just look back and see how many members they have. If it drops below the 20, then we'll go down to the first tier. If they have more than 19, then we'll bump them up a tier, and it'll be for that year. So that's our proposal, to just simplify this and really promote volume of memberships.
But it's 20% off an annual membership, not a monthly subscription.
I don't know that I have the answer to that right now. It could be either, I think.
Okay.
If you want, really, our rate is the monthly rate. That's the rate. If you want a discount, then buy it annually, and you have a built-in discount for that. So 20% off the monthly is going to be actually more revenue for the facility because that amount is higher than the annual rate.
Gotcha.
Seth, go ahead.
Yeah, I think just adding to that, I think it would be easiest for us to just be agnostic to that. Like, you just get 20% off. What are you buying? I want to buy the monthly. I want to buy the annual. I want to buy the two-party. I want to buy the single. It's just 20% off of that. I think we like our rate structure how it is. Whether it's the monthly, the single, the annual, etc. And if they want to take 20% off of this or that, somebody might be like, well, they got more money. They got more of a discount. Well, they got more of a discount because they paid more, right? And so I don't think I worry about that it be, that we're hitting some targeted dollar amount discount. So I would suggest to what Nick just said that the discount be 20% off or 10% off of whatever it is that employee buys. And I think what we're looking for from the corporate is we want them to advertise amongst their people to come to our facility. And for that, we're willing to give them some discounts. So we're looking to them to be an active participant in pushing, hey, the rec center's here and you can get a discount. So if you buy and you say you're coming from, Seth's R Us, then you can get a discount. So go, and that's a benefit that they can offer to their employees at this point at no cost to them. Really, I think the cost to them is that internal marketing that they're going to have to do to try to get people to come, right?
It's not an employer with 20 people or plus. It's an employer that brings 20 people to the rec center.
Correct.
Side.
That's a great thing to distinguish.
And
it's the number of memberships from that organization.
So if there have been 19 people from my employment that have gone and purchased memberships, I'm number 20. At what point do they know, okay, I've 6 months later from when these guys signed up, I've decided to sign up. Does then the 20% kick in for me, and retroactively now those other 19 start to get the 20%?
No, I think to keep it simple, we'll just look at one point in time and see where we're at. If an organization approaches us now and they says, hey, we think we're going to have this many, or we know we have this many, then yeah, we'll start them at that higher tier. And when we review in a year, if they've fallen below that, we'll just drop it down.
Okay.
And we'll give some notice that says, hey, you're gonna lose the benefit unless we get a couple more memberships. I think we can work with businesses that way to keep it while keeping it simple.
Makes sense.
Dale, anything you want to add?
No, I think it was covered. Our main goal here is, well, first of all, a lot of the corporations that we did talk to have these same types of corporate memberships in other centers. So the standard's already been set, and that's kind of what their hope or expectation was for us to do for them as well. And really our benefit is just like Seth said, it's a marketing tool. Like if there's only 5 guys in there and you want to get a discount, then you'll go encourage some other people to come and buy a membership as well so that everybody can benefit. So our really drive is just to sell memberships.
My question on the monthly versus the annual is more of we all work for corporations, and it's sometimes easier on the business side to say, well, okay, here's the money we're going to set aside or pull from your account every month, or you're going to set it, somebody's going to set it up can do it on the business side and say, here's your monthly membership. And so, yeah, if you don't care,
yeah, absolutely,
that's probably the way that go, rather than a big chunk of $400 or $500. I get a discount now. It's $25 a month.
But it feels like we're managing this as the individual employee goes to the Fit Center and signs up with I work for
with the company,
Seth R Us,
listed, yeah,
and therefore I get a discount.
Yeah.
Seems like we could. I don't know. It doesn't seem all the way baked yet on this.
I think we'll learn some.
Yeah, and there's certainly more on the back end, the administration side of it. I think this is, again, candidly, I don't love this program. Dale and Nick and I have kind of gone around it. I don't love it because I don't feel like it's what we want to do. but this is what other rec centers are doing, and a lot of the companies that are here that have presence around Utah County, this is what they're doing at, whether it's the American Fork or the Orem or Provo, et cetera. And so that's kind of the standard that has been set. This is not considering if my company wants to participate, then I think that's a different contractual relationship that we might have with a different company that says, hey, I want to pay for my employees. And I think we can do those. I don't know if you want to do those one at a time as one-offs rather than through this kind of rate structure, but depending on the number of employees and how many they want to put in, there's a lot that we can do with those types of companies. But this is not that. This is if they band together a minimum number of people that they can start to get some discounts. But if another company wants to get in front of the rate for their employees and pay something, then I think there are different things that we can do for them too. And I think is that similar to what you maybe get at your company, Kevin, with the Provo Rec Center?
Yeah.
Is that you get that through
the company.
Your company, right? And I think your company's paying for that, or at least some of that. Is that?
That sounds familiar. I don't know because I don't have.
You don't. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And there is one company that wants to do something similar, just like our insurance memberships, and so we'll work with them to do that. There will need to be there will be communication with whatever organization wants to participate, so that we have some kind of check on, hey, they are an employee.
You're going to need a code or something like that.
We will work on that, but we just wanted the backbone of.
And I think we probably want to give the rec center manager eventually. We don't need to do that kind of stuff today or right now, but I think we want to give the rec center manager the ability to enter into some of those agreements, those relationships with those businesses. I don't think we already did that.
We took care of that.
And so we don't want to give. I don't think we want to have it be a standard practice. There's so many variables that I think we want him to take into consideration as he works those out. All right, great.
Nick, can you go back one slide? Maybe you answered this and I missed it, but if I've got one child, not 2, 3 or more, I've just got one, where does that fall?
I think that's already on the rate structure, and I think it's $24.
Okay.
So we did have that originally, but we added the discount for multi-child.
Okay.
So yes, one child's $24 a month.
Okay, thank you.
And we have that approved.
Sorry, these are just showing the change, the rates that are changing from the last scheduled update to now. So this doesn't have every rate that we have.
Got it. It's just the changes. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. That's true for the last 2 slides. This next slide is a review, but I wanted to just bring it up and talk briefly about memberships. Call this the 101 if you want, Mayor. Memberships have been on sale since September 15th. Tomorrow, we plan to send out a notification to many in the city about memberships and announce that until we open, anyone that purchases a membership will lock in their price for 5 years and get 2 months free. Wow. So from now until we open, which all indications are still late fall, December-ish, until we open, we'll lock in those rates for 5 years and give you 2 months for free. So I just wanted to share that with you. There are a lot of combinations. We've tried to do things where it's easy for anybody in any situation to get a good price. Again, our family is any number of children that fit in the living at home, non-married dependents, 21 and younger. So those that have more than 4, one family we have has 12, and they have a family membership. If it's just you and a child at home, we have the 2-party rate. If you're over 60 and your spouse is with you, then we have the 2-party 60+ rate. So there are a lot of, and these are just the resident rates that I put up here. But a lot of exciting things with memberships, and those monthly ones will be on sale starting on October 15th. So get your membership. Get it now before we open. Get those 2 months free and be a founder of the Fit City Center. Any questions now? Maybe later?
Questions for Mr. Porter?
Great job.
Okay.
Those are great rates. Looking at them, it makes me really proud. Those are good rates, affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing from a lot of feedback from residents and non-residents how great the rates are. So I think it's so far so good.
Great. Thank you.
Back to Jordan.
Now we're going to get into the fun part, the numbers. All right. This is a very fun, scary table. Let's see if we can get this to work. I think I just got to learn how to navigate. The green column is the budget that was approved in June, and the red column is the budget you're approving tonight. So this difference column is the changes from the original budget to this revision. The general fund has $127,000 in expenses going up. It has $136,000, I think it was, in revenue going up. So not much change there. Let's see, where is it? Okay, yeah, the debt service fund, right here, it has an increase of $1.2 million. This increase is the proposal to pay off a loan from the water fund to the general fund for the water loan. The general fund just about $2 million a few years ago to help pay for the irrigation project up at the golf course. We are in year 4 of 10 on that loan, and this is proposing to pay off that loan 6 years early, which would be $1.2 million. The general fund has a balance of around $14 million, so a little less than 10% of the fund would be going back right now to the water fund. The water fund has around $2 or $3 million. We had flooding a couple years ago that affected the cash reserves of that fund, and they could use the funds a little more than the general fund could. So that's where that's being proposed. Also on here, you'll see a $5.4 million increase to the Burke Industrial Park. That's carryover of funds that weren't spent last fiscal year. You're seeing a decrease in the River Reclamation and Trails Fund that is moving a project from that fund to the Streets Fund, actually. That is the trail bridge that will go over Highway 6 near the windmills. So we'll connect the Mapleton Trail System to the Smashwork Trail System. The rec center construction is going from $9.1 million to $15.9 million. So, and that's a carryover as well. Any numbers on this table that you have questions on? I'm going to get into a little more detail on some of these things, but.
Well, Jordan, the $1.2 million that's coming, that the general fund is going to transfer to the water fund to pay off the loan. Because the golf course is in the general fund, we're not going to tie a payment schedule back.
Correct. Yeah.
Because any excess revenue from the golf course goes back into the overall general fund.
Yeah, it will just naturally pay the general fund back.
We're not going to track it any longer. We're calling it paid off.
Right.
In theory, the general fund is loaning a little bit of money to the golf course.
Yeah, but they are one in the same.
But they are one in the same. Yeah.
The general fund is.
I would say the water debt is paid off, but I think we will still track it because we want to make sure that when we stand in front of you at a future day and say the golf course has no outstanding obligations, we'll have that number with certainty. So we'll still track it inside of the general fund, but it's within the same bank account,
right?
And so it's an external, it's an internal tracking and not a debt. But yeah, I think we still want to track
it's
it.
It's going to be really, really quickly because we transferred. I mean, there is an excess of what, $500,000 from the golf course to the general fund this year.
Yes, yeah. There was excess profits of over $500,000 in the golf course that fell into the general fund, and that was beyond the $213,000 annual payment to the water fund.
Right. So right there, theory, you're down to $800,000.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, the golf course is actually a really awesome thing to highlight in the last 5 years. From 2010 to 2020, the golf course just about broke even. In 2020, with COVID and the pandemic, the golf course saw an increase in attendance and number of rounds being played. And the golf course is doing really well financially. We anticipate the golf course can pay back everything that has been done up there with the event center and the irrigation project within 4 or 5 years, as well as being able to put some money away for future projects to enhance the course. Any other questions on this table before I move on? All right. Here's a summary of the general fund. So revenue going up 136,000, expenses going up 127. Budget transfers out to actually make that debt payment from the general fund has to come from the debt service fund. So we have to transfer it from the general fund to the debt service fund, and then the debt service fund pays it. The budget decrease in the fund balance before this revision was $338,000. If you remember, we proposed a $500,000 loan from the general fund to the airport fund in June. That was approved. With this early payoff of that interfund loan, we'll have a decrease in that fund of $1.5 million. That doesn't mean that the budget's not sustainable. That's a one-time. Both those items are one-time payments. Yeah. So the unrestricted fund balance is projected to go from $13.9 million to $12.38 million. Revenue's going from $46 million this year to $54 million. So state law requires that our general fund balance remain between 5 and 35% of revenues. We've tried to keep that between 25 and 30% on the higher end. We're projecting now with this change that it'll drop to 23%. We do budget conservatively, so I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being, 25, 26% at the end of the fiscal year, which would be in line with what we want. Any questions on this? All right.
Questions?
All right. Golf course projects fund. So this fund is funded by a portion of profits from the golf course and also by rent from the business operating the sled hill up there. We are carrying over some funds to complete work on sand traps, so the expenses are going from $50,000 to $110,000, and revenue is going up $150,000, budgeting for some funds that were expected last fiscal year that haven't been received yet. VERC Industrial Park Project Fund. This is a carryover of $5.4 million for infrastructure. If anyone drives down in that industrial area around the airport, you will notice a lot of infrastructure happening, and that's where it's happening at, is in this fund. River Reclamation Trails Project Fund. So we talked about that Highway 6 Trail Bridge project. We have received between $13 and $14 million for that project. It is going to be a multi-year project, so we have budgeted $2.5 million. It was originally budgeted in this fund, but we're going to move the project into the Streets and Storm Drain Fund. Rec Center construction, we're getting close to being open, carrying over $6 million from last year. Yeah. This is a payment schedule of that loan from the water fund to the general fund. So $1.2 million is being paid off early. Sewer collection fund, there were several projects that are carrying over funds totaling $1 million. And developer impact fee reimbursements. This is, as we receive impact fees, we have developers that have done impact fee eligible projects and they've fronted those, and this is us reimbursing them. So when we're making those payments, it's based off of how much impact fee revenue we get the year before, so it's hard to project what this is going to be. So this fund, that amount was less than we expected. Power and light carrying over almost $600,000 for carryover projects. Streets, we talked about the $2.5 million project. Developer impact fee reimbursements increasing from $2 million to $2.7 million. And that is everything. Any questions?
Jordan, maybe you can just clarify for those watching. If we budgeted, for example, with the rec center, $6 million last year to be used,
right?
Maybe walk through the reason why it wasn't used last year and had to be carried over.
Yeah, I think so. Anyone that's done a construction project always knows that it's hard to gauge how quickly you're going to make progress, right? So the rec center was a multi-year thing, spanning 3 or 4 fiscal years. So it's hard to know how much you're going to spend in any one fiscal year. So the project is not over budget, but we didn't spend as much as we thought we would last year. So those funds need to be reallocated, rebudgeted for this year. But yeah, does that answer what you're trying to get at?
So the overall budget hasn't gone up. It's just You didn't spend it 1 year, you're going to spend it
Right.
next.
It's tricky because you can't, even if you have the cash, you can't spend that cash unless you budget it. So a lot of times, yeah, you budget that same dollar twice before you actually spend it.
Any other questions for Jordan?
All right, I'm here.
Thank you, Jordan. I would entertain a motion to go into public hearing for item B.
I move that we go into public hearing for the budget revision 1.
Motion made by Councilman Euler,
Second.
second by Councilman Took. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're in public hearing for item B, the fiscal year 2026 budget revision number 1. Anybody from the public that would like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon, second by Councilwoman Beck. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Discussion back up here. I know we've had budget updates with city staff, so not necessarily new to us, but any questions on this for Jordan or Seth or any other department?
Good job spelling it out.
I think I'd just echo the same kind of detail that Kim gave us on the employee compensation. I'm always proud of our team doing the same kind of transparency and detail on our budget and budget revision. So appreciate everybody's work on this. If there's no other questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget revision number 1.
I move to approve the ordinance for the fiscal year 2026 budget revision 1.
Motion made by Councilman Took.
Second.
Second by Councilman Euler. Roll call vote here. Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
And Councilman Took.
Yes.
Item B is approved. We're out of our public hearing section of the agenda and moving to new business. We have A and F added to it. Do we keep it F or do we make it B? Seth, how does that go in the?
I don't know that it matters. We'll just make sure we identify the name.
Supposed to have Robert's Rules of Orders memorized.
I would say, what do you want it to be?
We'll go with A first, and then we'll decide if it's B or F. But the first one, new business, is amending city code regarding treasurer bonds and crime insurance. Mr. Vaughn Piquel.
Yes, Mayor and Council, recent legislation has required cities to obtain crime insurance for our public treasurer, making basically our code requirement of a surety bond, a treasurer bond, kind of obsolete. Crime insurance gives more coverage, broader coverage for criminal acts or potential fraud and dishonesty of employees. And the amount that is provided is as that is set by the State Money Management Council. For a budget of our size, which we just approved about $247 million budget across all funds, which is what is required because the treasurer has access to all of those funds. It's 2% of that amount. So it'd be about a $5 million policy for crime insurance. So all in all, it's a better protection for the city and for the public's funds. And so for that reason, we propose changing our code to require the crime insurance in the amount set by the State Money Management Council and deleting the obligation to obtain a state or a treasurer bond, which is just a surety bond.
So swapping out the bond for crime insurance.
Any questions?
Any questions for Vaughn?
No.
Thank you, Vaughn. I'd entertain a motion on item A.
I move to approve the ordinance amending city code regarding treasurer bonds and crime insurance.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Beck, second by Councilman Marshall. Roll call vote here. Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
And Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Item A is approved. Takes us to item F, Spanish Fork Parkway Interlocal Agreement Addendum number 2.
This is kind of a cleanup, if you will, or an extension of an agreement. The previous agreement provided funds to help build the railroad crossing at Spanish Fork Parkway. As that project went on, and we're just now finishing up the landscaping. We're kind of down to the last draw on those funds and realized the agreement was expired. And so this extends the date long enough so that we can finish that reimbursement process. Project's complete, and so it was just kind of cleaning up the paperwork and making sure we can finalize those funds.
I was really hopeful this was a different crossing on Spanish Fork Parkway.
I agree. but it's the same one. Yeah, so the project's done. Again, this is just to help us finish up the reimbursement through that agreement. So,
Any questions for Corey on this one? If no questions, I would entertain a motion on item F.
I move to approve the resolution for the Spanish Fork Parkway Interlocal Agreement Addendum 2.
Motion made by Councilman Euler.
Second.
Second by Councilman Took. A roll call vote here. Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
And Councilman Euler.
Yes.
F's approved. Takes us to adjourn to closed meeting, I believe. Any other item that needs to come before this body?
Just the closed session.
All right.
I move to adjourn to closed meeting to discuss, for the discussion of character, professional competency, or physical or mental health of an individual as provided by Utah Code annotated in 52-4-205 in the Explorer Room.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon.
Second.
Second by Councilman Euler. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned to closed session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.